From the whitehouse.gov website, restrictions on entry of certain immigration or immigrant workers. So Donald Trump signed a proclamation today, a bit earlier today, surrounding H-1B visas. And I'm excited to see it. I love to see this. This is going to be great. Basically, the shorthand is Trump is increasing the fee to bring someone in for H-1B visa to $100,000. So it's going to cost them $100,000 to bring someone into the United States on an H-1B visa. Now, let's read the Trump administration's reasoning for why they believe for this move. The number of foreign STEM workers in the United States has more than doubled between 2000 and 2019, increasing from 1.2 million to almost 2.5 million. So a 52% increase. While overall STEM employment has only increased 44.5% during that time. Among computer and math occupations, the foreign shares of the workforce grew from 17.7% in 2000 to 26.1% in 2019. And the key facilitator for this influx of foreign STEM labor has been the abuse of the H-1B visa. So effectively, the claim that they're making is the employment for STEM increased by 44%, but we brought in 52%. So what is that, 6, 7, 8% difference between the foreigners that we hired for those jobs and the actual increase, which generally it should be, if anything, I would assume it should be less. Like more Americans should be going into those jobs. Now, if Americans aren't going into those jobs, into those fields, into college for those type of jobs, maybe we have to hire externally. I'm not sure. I don't think this necessarily proved that, but it definitely is an indicator, right? It's part of the evidence. Part of the preponderance of evidence can lead to that description. Now, I've done a video on this before, but effectively the H-1B visa was being abused by corporations. Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, they all had layoffs, I should say. They had layoffs of thousands of individuals, which include thousands of developers, and then they went and hired thousands of developers through the H-1B visa program. This does suppress American wages. This kicks Americans out of the pool for being hired. I think it was on purpose. A lot of individuals that were laid off from because they kind of staggered it. Like maybe I was working at Microsoft and then I go work at Facebook and they lay me off, and then I have to go work at Amazon and then they lay me off. Like maybe that happened. I don't know. If anyone has a story of that happening to them, please hit me up. I'd love to learn. So there's some more of the reasoning. Reports indicate that many American tech companies have laid off their qualified and highly skilled American workers and simultaneously hired thousands of H-1B visa workers. So that's effectively what I was just saying. That's what these big corporations were doing. One software company was approved for over 5,000 H-1B workers in fiscal year 2025. Around the same time, it announced a series of layoffs totaling more than 15,000 employees. I wish they said which business this was. Maybe I could find that. Another IT firm was approved for nearly 1,700 H-1B workers in 2025, and it announced it was laying off 2,400 American workers in Oregon in July. A third company has reduced its workforce by approximately 27,000 American workers since 2022, while being approved for over 25,000 H-1B workers since 2022. A fourth company reportedly eliminated 1,000 jobs in February, and it was approved for over 1,100 H-1B workers for fiscal year 2025. So companies have been, I think it's on purpose. The left currently doesn't have control of the government, and I think this is just one of the means. They've got all their levers and triggers that they can pull, just as the right does, but the right is definitely less effective and doesn't have as strong of a pull as the left does at this time, or control over the corporations. And I think this is on purpose. I think this is to get rid of the Americans. And think about it this way. If a lot of these positions, because they're H-1B, are going to be the same type of position. So not only are they laying them off from their company and getting replaced, other companies did the exact same thing, and they've been doing it for a long time. Again, Amazon let go thousands of people, and they ended up, it's funny too, because when I was looking at their data, let's see if I can pull that up actually. Their let's see right here, I think. Yeah, let's see if I can show this well. Here we go. So Amazon, so this data was pulled, labor condition application data. I pulled it from the US website. I just downloaded the data from a spreadsheet, put it into Google's Looker Studio, and asked it to make these graphs. I didn't manipulate it in the data or anything. I just downloaded it and put it on here. So you'll see here, this is funny to me. Total workers, 11,000 Amazon. Also, this was 2024. 11,600 workers. They amounted to 7.4% of the total of those that were pulled in through this. You can see Microsoft's on there, Google's on there, Apple's on there. We scroll down, Amazon. Let's scroll down some more. Amazon. Let's scroll down some more. Gosh, it's doing that stupid pop-up. Amazon. Let's keep scrolling. There was one more. I don't see it right now. But Amazon, they have their different corporations. I get it. But regardless, as a company, they're doing this. Let's see if we can sort it by total worker here. So wrong way. Oh, wait. Maybe I had to scroll up. My bad. Do it again. Yeah, so 11,000, 6,000, Goldman Sachs 3,000, Cisco 3,000, Infosystems basically 3,000, 2,500. So that really should read, what, 14,000 now? 14, 15, 16,000, 17,000. Yeah, so Amazon as a conglomerate hired almost 20,000 individuals, if not 20,000 individuals, from H-1B visa program. That to me is insane. There are plenty of Americans that need jobs, and I do not believe that they actually put in the effort to get this. But let's get back to it. So let's actually just read the section 1 here, restriction on entry. So this is the actual change pursuant to the section. I'm not going to read that. We're going to come down here. This is the restriction. So under these circumstances, you are restricted except for those aliens whose petitions are accompanied or supplemented by a payment of $100,000. So the individual who is submitting the petition, the corporation, has to also include a $100,000 fee to hire this individual. Now, a lot are saying this is effectively ending the H-1B program, and it might. I have a possible scenario that might play out. We'll get into it later, but I could see this effectively ending the H-1B program. The subject to the exception set forth in subsection C of the section. So there's a caveats down here. We'll get to those. This restriction shall expire absent extension 12 months after the effective date of the proclamation, which is 12:01 Eastern Daylight Time, September 21st. So this doesn't go into effect until 2 days later, 2 days from now. And so here we are. It has a sunset clause. I like sunset clauses. I don't mind having to go back. I think some things don't need sunset clauses, like don't murder, first degree, second degree murder. But things like this, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially when it comes to the economy and when it comes to the workforce and who's allowed to work, who's not allowed to work. I think most of those things should have sunset clauses because, especially with the technology that we have, things change. So I would love to see Congress institute, when it comes again to workforce specific type things, to have sunset clauses. I'd love to see it on a lot of regulations. There's too many regulations of corporations and companies right now that the American people are not free to do what they need to. I do think some regulations make sense. As an example, this regulation is great. $100,000. The Secretary of Homeland Security shall restrict decisions on petitions not accompanied by $100,000 payment for H-1B specialty occupation workers under this section of the INA who are currently outside the United States for 12 months following the effective date of this proclamation. So outside the United States, this is important because my understanding is outside the United States, this is for entry into the United States. So if you are already in the United States and you apply to the H-1B program, they don't have to pay the $100,000. Or at least, I don't know. I kind of get confused here because except for those aliens whose petitions are accompanied or supplemented by payment, I'm not positive how this is going to work. My understanding is there's like 850,000 people that apply, and then around 85,000, so like around 10%, are actually supposed to be won in, but they're won in through lottery. So I don't know how the 100,000. I think the petition comes after the lottery, so it's like you've been chosen in the lottery. You're one of the individuals who can come in. They then get to pick. And my understanding is if they're already in the United States, they're allowed to not have to pay this $100,000. So that's a little worrying. So again, that's why I'm saying I don't think this is a complete end of the H-1B program, but I do think that we're going to see it's definitely going to slow down. It's going to cause a shift. Things are going to change. This is going to have a massive effect, but it's not going to have a complete effect because individuals who are already in the U.S. can't come in. That's what I was trying to say. Now, the Secretary of Homeland Security shall restrict decisions on petitions not accompanied by $100,000 payment for the worker who are currently outside. So again, this is for those that are outside. If it was paid or not paid, the Homeland Security can restrict the decision for 12 months following the effective date, blah, 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 moving forward. So here's the Section C. The restriction imposed pursuant to Sections A and B of this section shall not apply to any individual alien, all aliens working for a company, or all aliens working in an industry if the Secretary of Homeland Security determines in the Secretary's discretion that the hiring of such aliens to be employed as H-1B specialty occupations workers is in the national interest and does not pose a threat to one's security or welfare of the United States. So this is the get out of free jail card clause or whatever, right? This allows the federal government to say, actually, we're going to make an exception for, hospitals, or an exception for NVIDIA, or an exception for Microsoft, or whatever they want to do. So that needs to be watched. We need to pay attention to who they are excluding from the $100,000 fee. So again, I don't know that this is going to end the H-1B program. I wish it was. A lot of people are saying rip H-1B, but it's not a complete total takedown. Now, it could be if every single person who won the lottery is from out of the country, then that makes sense. But if they're already in the country, my understanding again is this doesn't apply to them. So that's one big deal. It goes through compliance, scope, and implementation of restrictions on entry, amending prevailing wages, general provisions. So there's a few other changes. Excuse me. I didn't think they were that important, so I'm not going to go over them. But I love to see this. This is really good. The H-1B program has been very abused. It was instituted, if I remember correctly, in 1990. So it's been around for about 35 years, basically around as long as I've been alive. And it's been grossly abused. More specifically, as Trump has showed, since starting in 2000, the increase was exponential. More than it should have been. Not like a huge exponential, but it's bigger than what it's not linear. I'll put it that way. I wasn't going to read that. So here's the deal. I'm going to shift now to the PERM labor certification. I don't remember what PERM stands for, but effectively PERM is the requirement of corporations that they have to at least first try to hire Americans first. So this is where I get a lot of questions when it comes to these companies that are hiring so many people. Like 11,000 people. Why do you need 11,000 people from outside the country? You probably could have found Americans who would be more than willing to do this job and who are qualified for that job. So I think it's a lie. Like Elon Musk was fighting for H-1B. I think he kind of shut up about it because everyone was attacking him for it. But he was kind of saying Americans are lazy. Sure, there's some lazy Americans, but here's the deal. It doesn't matter. We need to fix this country. And if they're lazy, you need to hire them and get them to do their damn job, or fire them and hire another American. We need to fix the problem, not bring in other individuals. Now, I'm not completely against having foreigners in our country and working. I like the idea of brain drain. But here's the other issue is we're not really brain draining if we're bringing them here, letting them work here for 3 years and then sending them back, or if they do go back. I probably should look it up. I'm not sure the statistics on how many actually stay working in America or want to live in America or want to become citizens. I'm not sure of those numbers. Probably should have looked at that. But the PERM, the idea behind this is that you are supposed to advertise to Americans first, give them the opportunity to apply, to be looked into. And if they can't find a qualified individual from America, then they can apply for work visas. Either H-1B or just normal work visas, whatever they're called, whatever code there is. So let's scroll down. Here we go. 5 steps for the PERM advertising process. Step 1, job order. Employers must place a job order with the appropriate state workforce agency based on the work location. So wherever they're at, they have to apply it. Now, this This one makes me mad because a lot of jobs nowadays, it makes me mad in the sense of like how the law is written. It needs to be changed. This needs to be changed quickly because a lot of corporations are hiring where you can work remote. And if remote is allowed, then wherever based on the work location, it's like, well, then you have to, I'm just saying, I don't think they're enforcing that they have to apply to every single state, because if every single state is allowed to work remotely, then technically they have to put it on the state workforce agency based on that location. So if that is happening, great. Second, ads. Employers must place a job ad in 2 Sunday editions of a widely circulated local newspaper. Please tell me, who in the world reads newspapers? I don't know anyone. Does it include the online newspaper? Like, does anyone read newspapers? I don't even know if they exist anymore. I haven't even seen a newspaper in years. So this is outdated as well. Step 3, internal job posting. Posting must be displayed for 10 consecutive business days on the company's premises. That should be like their website, probably, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Additional, employers can choose 3 additional recruitment methods, such as job fairs, company website ads, or job search engines to meet the professional position recruitment requirement. So they have to choose 3, right? So job fair, cool. Company website, ads, cool. Job search engines, I mean, that is 3, so I don't, like, are they saying you could do 3 job fairs? I'm not sure how that's supposed to be, but 3 additional ones, great. Step 5, you're done. You must wait at least 30 days after the end of your ad campaigns to file your ETA 9089. So they have to do this for a month, and then they get an additional month, effectively, is what's going on. They get 2 months that they have to have the position available for Americans to be able to apply. If Americans don't apply within that time frame, they are then allowed to apply for H-1B visas or outside help. If the DOL suspects that the advertising process was not completed satisfactorily, then you may be subject to a targeted audit. This can seriously delay the processing time of your employee's work visa or green card. While some audits are random and therefore unavoidable, following the perm advertising process carefully can help mitigate the chances of being targeted by the DOL. Here's the deal. I don't think they were ever doing it. Like, how is it that these corporations are hiring such large amounts of outside help? I know plenty of Americans who want to work. Specifically, I've heard of a lot of Americans who want to work for Amazon in the IT sector, like within the STEM part of Amazon is what I'm trying to say. And I know a lot of individuals who have applied, they didn't get the job. So, and I definitely, like, personally, I think they're qualified. Obviously, I don't work at Amazon, so I don't get a say there, but they're definitely qualified. They exist. And so I get really worried with how corporations have been abusing this. This is why I like this change, why I like the $100,000 fee increase, so that we don't get hiring more and more outside help. Why does that matter? It matters because the more individuals we bring into our country right now, and specifically I mean right now because of the bifurcation, because of the divide in America, there are so many Americans that just hate each other. If we can't figure this problem out, inviting outsiders into this discussion, they're either going to join a side, which is just going to exacerbate the problem, or they're going to be their own side and keep quiet and just wait for whatever to happen. I don't see many outsiders wanting to come in and be like, I got to fix America. I know it does happen. Calm down. I'm not saying everybody, but it's not enough. There's too many individuals. And again, with the leanings of Amazon, Microsoft, Google, all these corporations that are hiring, with their leanings, I kind of lean towards they're probably trying to bring in individuals and wanting to bring in individuals who don't care for American values. And that's why this matters. America right now has very, very split set of values. We have the abortion debate. Is the baby life or not? And does it deserve freedom? Does the mother's body deserve freedom? And then you got the question of, I've already brought this up, but I think it's funny that the left will make fun of the right and be like, haha, you're a virgin. And the virgin's like, yeah, I want to be, not married. And the right will be like, haha, your wife sleeps around with other dudes. And the left's like, yeah, that's the point. We live polyandrous lives, like whatever, no big deal. So our accusations and insults to each other aren't insults anymore. Like, we're actually just attacking a value that they share, and they see that as good. And so right now, where we stand in America, we need to figure out these problems without inviting more people in with more belief systems and more cultures and more ideas. We don't know our own culture right now. So First and foremost, we need to deport every single person who is here illegally. We need to make it untenable for them to want to live here. We need to take the property of individuals that are housing and abetting illegal immigrants knowingly. We need to take the property of businesses and arrest business owners who are knowingly hiring illegal immigrants to work. That should not be the case. And if you are here illegally, go home. Make your country better, or go home and come back the right way. Okay, that's all we're asking. Do it the right way. So why this perm matters and why it connects to this this proclamation that Trump did. Well, I was on X today, actually, and I found this user here, jobs.now, exposing hidden jobs for Americans. So I was unaware of this, and I brought up this one specifically because of their Ancestry is in Utah. So these Ancestry jobs are a crazy demonstration of the sneaky ways companies hide jobs for H-1B. Go on their career site, search for staff software engineer, no post. Where could it be hiding? So you can see here, you typed in staff software engineer. It's not showed up. But, and again, this is a month or more ago, a little bit more than a month, August 7th. So the positions are no longer there. But 5 new roles at Ancestry today, mostly software engineering, all fully remote. Okay, but Utah based. So this is a job in Utah, Ancestry.com. They're in Utah. They allow for remote work. Great, cool. I don't mind that. If you're like right now, I do mind. I do think we need to be focusing on our own states as well. But sometimes I understand you need to go to other states to find help. Sometimes I get that. This position was hidden. They were not posting it on their website. So if you went to their website, you wouldn't be able to find it. And so he found it probably through like the state, right? They have to register with the state and say that we did our job or whatever. Why are they hiding this from Americans? Why are they saying, no, Americans, we're not going to hire you? It's a lie. Let's see. So go to the specific link. They include in their ad 29 characters of gibberish added to their URL. They have a whole page with perm ads, none of which are indexed to their core career page. So these jobs are posted on the website. But if you go to their career page, you'll never see them. Ancestry job postings. If you don't see any job postings right now, don't worry. It just means, okay, I didn't know it was important. So you can see here's job postings. So it is on their website and it's part of their perm ads. They have a whole page with perm ads, none of which are indexed to their core career page. So what they're doing is when you click on this, it goes nowhere. It doesn't go to a thing. They're hiding it. It's just a bunch of gibberish, as he says. It doesn't work. Now, is it possible someone just typed in the gibberish somehow or somehow confused the system? Not likely. Like if you know anything about engineering, you know how most gibberish URLs are actually like a hash or some type of code that means something to a computer. It just doesn't mean anything to a human. Like, it's really hard to do this unless you're doing it on purpose. So I like that first one, actually. How do you find it? We got these from the classified section of the Salt Lake City Tribune. So they are doing their job. They're posting it in a newspaper, which again, who gets a newspaper? Who reads the newspaper? Not many people. And they're doing their perm advertising, but when you click on it and when you go to their website to actually find the job, it's not there, which gives you the impression that they're not hiring anymore. It's not available, right? Like, oh, someone got it before I got it. It was posted in the newspaper. I didn't see it. Dang it. So then you think it's gone. And then they turn around and say, hey, we never received any qualified person to actually apply for this position. So we need to hire outside. This is sneaky. It is evil. And it is bad. We need to be hiring Americans. We need to be focusing on Americans right now. Americans are trying to figure out this life. And the more you subvert them and do evil to them, the more that something bad's probably going to happen. I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm saying there are many Americans already with the rising house prices in Utah. Gen Z can't buy a home. And generally, when you got a bunch of men who can't do something, that's when revolutions start. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to see a revolution. We need a restoration. We need to restore Utah to our core values, to our core strengths. And people need to wake up, to our government right now here in Utah, Governor Cox, the legislature. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. They are not doing the will of the people. They are subverting us at every stage, and they do it through double speak. They go out there and they say, look at all this good that I'm doing, and I'm such a good person. But in the background, they're actually stabbing you in the back because they said it in a way that's very specific. You start to pick up on the way that they're saying it, and you recognize that they're either outright lying to you, or they're obfuscating it just enough that if you didn't pay attention, you wouldn't pick up on it. They are not our friends. They're not helping us. Governor Cox increased the budget from $20 billion when he started roughly to $29 billion. We're almost at $30 billion budget. And everyone who says that it's not his, like he doesn't have any say, it's the legislator's job. He does have a say. He's the one who sets and asks for the budget, and then the legislature approves it. They approved his budget. They have increased by 50%. 20 to 30 billion almost a full 50%. I think it's like 45% officially or something. So we're in trouble. Now, if you're looking for a job, use this website, jobs.now. Great place to find a job. It's probably isn't because the people on here are probably hiding the jobs. So jobs.now, he's probably finding jobs. But you can filter for the skilled, company, tag. You got categories, job type, posted at. You can do a location. I did Utah because I was looking and having some fun with it. They got a bunch of job postings. Now, do you want to work here? I don't know if they're on here. I'm not sure if he's doing everybody. Like it's just all jobs. Maybe he's trying to replace like Indeed or Glassdoor, or like maybe he's just trying to replace everyone and just like post all the jobs. I'm not actually sure. But maybe he's just doing the hidden ones, which if that's the case, maybe you don't want to work for these companies, but at the same time, we need to take over because we need to make sure they're not hiring externally. We need to fix our own problems and fix our own culture right now. Go ahead and give him a follow. I'll try to leave his, if I remember, a link to his page in my description with all the rest of the links as I always do. If you disagree with anything I say, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I did forget to mention, one of the things I think could happen with this 100,000 is it is possible that these people are the people who are hiring for these jobs. They might be persuaded enough to want to spend the $100,000 to continue to displace American workers. And if they are, what's going to happen is they're probably going to be hiring for even higher level of jobs, which is a smaller market of people, right? Like generally you got the lower level work, and then as you work up, there's just less and less people that can do the jobs. You get to CEO, and there's not enough CEOs in the world, or there's not enough positions in the world for everyone to be a CEO unless you go start your own business. So because of that, it's possible they're going to try to hire for higher level positions than they already were. And that could displace more American workers, it would suppress wages. It'll keep other Americans from receiving their promotions, their abilities. I'm not sure the likelihood of this is high. I'd put it at like maybe a 5% chance that happens. But, some people are really crazy, and maybe I should put a higher chance on that. It's probably even lower than 5%. It's like a 1%. I think that this is going to have a good effect. But again, it doesn't apply to everyone. Some people are still going to be able to get through the H-1B program. I think corporations are still going to try to target those individuals. Then we're going to have a lot of leftover individuals who will require the 100,000, and they still might bring them in. I'm going to keep an eye on that. If it does, I'll make another video on it. If the secretary ends up letting in more people or allowing a corporation through, and I catch that, I'll also try to make a video on it. So there we are. If you disagree with anything I said, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. You can also disagree with me and debate me on X at Reese J. Crockett. You can follow me at Rumble and YouTube at Reese Crockett, or at Reese J. Crockett as well. One day I'll try to make like a TikTok and Instagram and all that. I don't know. I hate those programs, but maybe I'll do it. Go ahead and share this video with everyone you know. If you have a grandma who you haven't seen in a long time, maybe she's sick, or maybe she just needs a call, go ahead and give her a call and just be like, Grandma, so glad you're still alive. I love you. Here's a video of Reese Crockett. You should watch it. But seriously, call your grandma and your mom and your dad. Just call everyone in your family. Let them know you love them, okay? Especially if they disagree with you politically. Call them. Just love them. Till next time.